Hello, Nova babes. New setup. So we moved Luna out of our room. So this is our bed now. I'm on my desk. This is where y'all are. We got a TV in here. We got our own bathroom right here. Just a lot of upgrades and changes. Bear with me. I know that this this week's reading is gonna be absolutely batshit insane, but in the best way possible. I'm still just trying to like piece together all of my thoughts with everything that's going on in my personal life. And I know all of us are feeling something right now. And maybe you're not feeling anything at all. Maybe you're somewhere in the middle, and I feel you. I really feel you there. I wanted to pull tarot for today, the usual deck that we always do. But ooh, it's been a hot minute, y'all. It really has. To give you the highlights, I know I wrote about it, but to hear it from me, literally, it's been a lot, right? Like there's so much stuff that's going on. Sorry, I had to pause that and do something with Luna. So if that is thrown off at all, that's because it's me. But basically, it's to hit the highlights. As you guys know, I fled from my parents' house back in November. And that was like a week before Thanksgiving. I think it was like the 17th of November, something along those lines. So I literally fled from there because of the violent attack with my father and Donald. And then we made it here to my aunt and uncle's house. My grandma, so this was like my grandma's like sitting room, and then it's like a Jack and Jill. So there's a bathroom, and then there's another room on the other side. I legitimately all of me, Donald, and Luna were all in this room, and my grandma was totally fine with it. But literally, I think it was like 2 or 3 nights into us living here, and my grandma started falling. She was having trouble using the bathroom. She would fall in the middle of the night. She was having a lot of mental issues because of her dementia. So every week got significantly worse, and worse to the point of like me and my aunt were all hands on deck around the clock with her, probably about 3 weeks in, if not a month in. And that was a lot. My grandma was a very independent woman. She lost her husband in like her 40s. They got married when they were like 18 and 19. So, they had my 2 aunts and my mom, and I think they celebrated 25 years, if I'm not mistaken. But it's just like watching her, you know what I mean? Like watching somebody that was so independent. I used to go to my foxy grandma, you know what I mean? Like she would wear her tracksuits, the big bling, costume jewelry, matching shoes with everything, matching purse. Like she definitely had a shopping addiction. R.I.P. grandma, but you did. Love you, but her and QVC were like this. So it was really hard to watch. You know what I mean? Like it was really hard to watch, where especially when she had her stroke in the beginning of January. She was literally not able to communicate verbally with us. Like she would say words, but the words weren't right. Right? Like she'd say something totally off wall about like, oh, she needed to eat, but she was talking about cars or something like that. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of energy, there's a lot of displacement, if you will, that I was having because I had to watch this transition with her. And then in that process, I'm still dealing like with my parent drama and bullshit. And then my mom lived here for about like a week because my grandma truly went into decline. So she went from us taking care of her to being on hospice. So if you've ever dealt with hospice, like that could be like a 2-week to 2 months to 2 years. It just depends on the person. She did not make it even 2 weeks. It took a week. It took a week and a day, exactly. A week and a day, exactly, for her to be put on hospice to then pass. And my mom was here. And there was a lot of drama. There was a lot of things between like her and I, my aunt and her, just like a lot of stuff. There was just so much stuff going on. And, you know, I'm not even gonna lie, guys, like, I was checked the fuck out. Like, I literally was like, I don't even know how to handle any of this. Like, there's just a lot of emotions that have been going through. And mind you, keep in mind, this is the ending of my Saturn return. I'm a Saturn and Pisces baby, Saturn and Aries babies, which I think a few of you guys are. Good luck. It's not all bad, okay? It's not all bad, but there's a lot of change. There's a lot of growth. There's a lot of things that you think are going to go a certain way and it goes a completely different way. So me and my mom are having issues. Her and my aunt are having issues while she's living here, but we're trying to like make it work. We're taking care of my grandma. Every 2 hours she needed morphine or some type of medication, and that was a lot. And it got to the point where I'm like, I cannot be the one to find her. And I knew that if I kept going on that journey, I would be the one to find her. And luckily Donald and my uncle, they helped when my mom went home. So unfortunately for Donald, he was the one that found her when she passed. And he had to tell me, which was really hard because in our relationship, I have always been the one to tell him when somebody has passed in the family, like on his side of the family. And it's just really hard, you know, to be in that situation on either end. It's hard to hear and it's hard to say. And my aunt and my mom talked about how my dad was not allowed at the funeral. My mom said a bunch of horse shit about me and Donald. I'm not even going to get into that. But long story short, I ended up singing at my grandma's funeral. And I got on stage and saw my father. He was not there, as it was family hour and everything else. He must have snuck on in. And he came in with both of my sisters and they sat with my mom, and none of them sat in like the family section. So when I was on stage and I saw them, I immediately freaked out. So I held myself together. I did sing, but once I finished my song, I ran off stage in a very dramatic fashion. Donald followed me. Me and Donald were discussing that my father was there, and I was like, we gotta go. And Donald tried to make me stay. He was like, no, you need to stay. I'll stay out in the car, or like, we'll go up to the second floor so we don't have to be anywhere near them. Sure, fine. But I just knew, my intuition was telling me, get the hell out of there. Like, you don't need to be there. You have more than enough. You cannot deal with this drama. You cannot deal with the pain. You cannot deal with all of this extra stuff. So I left. I dipped. I was like, nope, you know what? I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to stay here. I'm not going to put my husband in this situation. I'm not going to put myself in this situation. And luckily, my aunt and uncle and cousins, they all helped take care of it for me. And I'm truly grateful for them. You know what I mean? I'm grateful that I was able to step back and not have to deal. But I'm not going to lie to y'all. Like, I know I haven't been on here because mentally it's just been so much. My heart is hurting. You know, as a daughter, I'm devastated and I'm heartbroken. Like, these are my own parents. Like, out of anybody in this world, they should be the ones that actually love and care about me and put my feelings into consideration. But as I made it very clear to my mother before, and reiterating, she has always and will forever choose my father over everybody else. And that is where I'm done. I am done letting myself believe that she'll ever put me first. I am done with letting the drama of whatever they have going on affect major moments in my life. This is not the first time. When I got married, when I had my baby, when I got engaged, when I moved out the first time, when I graduated from high school, when I graduated from college, every single major moment in my life, both of them have always made it about themselves in some way, shape, or form. And here it is, my grandma's funeral, and I can't even have this moment. I can't even feel safe with even grieving my grandma. So it's been a lot. And as y'all know, I'm super transparent, but I can't keep going the way that I'm going. And maybe you have been at that point in some stage, or maybe you're right there where you're like, I can't keep going in this way. I know it doesn't work. I know that I cannot keep going in this way, that it's hindering me. And it's time to not be hindered anymore. It's time to make real choices. It's time to make real decisions. It's time to move forward. But to integrate takes a lot more time of an adjustment. And that's something that I've been, actually, I was talking about with Kate. Kate has been helping me in some like therapy. Obviously, I need some therapy. So they have been helping me with that and super appreciative. But these are things like for me where I know for myself when I'm trusting my intuition here, it's like, okay, bitch, you know that this doesn't work. You know this puts you on a depressive spiral. You know that all of these things throw you off. So what are we going to do to change it? And I want to do the things and I am trying to do the things, but then it gets to this point where I'm like, oh, I'm not, I should hurry this up. It shouldn't take me this long. And it's always like divine timing's like, bitch, I decide the time, not you. Like, you're saying it's taking too long. I'm saying you're right on time. So what are you really going to trust? What are you really going to follow here? And it's hard, okay? It's hard. It's hard to do all of that. But let me tap into the cards. Spirit, what does the collective need to know for this week? I feel like all of our energy has been a little bit blah. Like everyone's kind of feeling like, oh, I'm torn, I'm hurt, I'm scared, I'm anxious, I'm here, I'm there. Sure, right? Everything can be everywhere. But that could be leading us exactly to where we need to be, to getting to our aha moments, to get to this next place, this next phase, this next level, right? Let's see what messages Spirit has for us this week. This came out earlier. Okay, 10 of Cups reverse. So this is unhappy, domestic conflict, disharmony, unhappy home, separation. You know what this really feels like? This feels like where all of us are. I know this is like really working for me, but it just feels like I'm disconnected from my higher self and also who I am, and I'm tapping into who I was. But that version of who I am is like, no, like it's time to go. And it just feels kind of foggy. And maybe you're in that same place, right? Where it just feels foggy. Like you're having conflict, you're having disharmony, whether if it's internal or external, right? Like maybe you're having disharmony with relationships, not just romantic, but like platonic, work, something along those lines. Like maybe you're having more beef than usual. That's what it kind of feels like. It also feels like a dark, like shadow. It feels like there's some type of energy that's throwing you off. Separation is really sticking out for me. Like separating from yourself, separating from your true identity. I keep hearing like true path. There's parts of you that are scared about this path that you're going down because it's something completely different and new, and like you're feeling the weight and the pressure of it. It feels more of like a dark shadow instead of a rainbow. Okay, right? Like the rainbow's upside down, but Cups energy is water. Water is about intuition, emotions, flowing. How can we bring that flow back into your life? How can we flow into ourselves internally and externally? Like maybe it is tapping in a little bit harder into your own daily routines or practices, or jumping into group more, right? And like sharing more and being more open and being more honest, but also just like talking more. Maybe there's something about talking here. 3 of Wands reverse. This is about limitations, lack of progress, obstacles, delays, frustration. Delays and frustrations, 100%. And I know I've just talked about that. I know you guys are feeling that too. You're feeling like your life is being delayed, but it's not delaying, right? It's literally divine timing. Maybe you truly are, and I'm saying this for myself, right? Maybe I truly am supposed to have been at my parents' house for 18 months. Let's say I'm going to be here for another 12 months. for me to finally get the place that I've always wanted, for me to have the money, to have the stability, but also to have that freedom and fully activate that freedom, right? That's what's frustrating me, is like, okay, but why can't I have it right now? And it feels like spirit is like, but why do you need it right now? Like, don't you want it differently? Don't you want it to feel different? Don't you want it to look different? Don't you want it differently? I do. So then it's like, okay, like, what are you frustrated for? Like, stop being frustrated. Ace of Cups. And this is in the upright, right? So this is like emotional awakening, spirituality, creativity, intuition. It's overflowing, right? The cup overflows. Anything ace of any of the suits is spirit directly coming to you, okay? Coming in some way, shape, or form. So this energy that we're feeling right now, right? This pain, this hurt, the delays, the frustration, the confusion, that's where you're at right now. Spirit is trying to hand you the cup that's overflowing and be like, babe, this is the cup that you need to drink from. Stop worrying about all these other damn cups. Worry about this one. Because I know that's exactly where I'm at. I'm worried about all this other shit instead of worrying about right here, right now, me, right? Healing myself, finding that stability, finding that foundation. My aunt and uncle are not like my parents. They do not have me on a ticking time clock. I can't even tell you how many times my aunt and uncle have both told me and Donald how happy they are to be here, how excited they are to have us here and to be able to help us. And especially through all this transition with my grandma. My aunt was like, I would have no idea what I would have done without you, Brie. Like, literally. And that is confirmation for me. That's why I was able to leave that funeral, because I knew I did everything in my power to help and save, and not save, but heal my grandma as much as possible. I was with her 24/7 from November 20th all the way to February 3rd. Okay. That's a long time. I know that I did everything in my power. Page of Pentacles reverse. Okay. This is that immature, irresponsible kind of feeling that you're feeling, right? This is also like, there's something here about procrastinating. That's something that you struggle with. Like, you procrastinate a little bit, like you get stuck in this rut. So it helps, it keeps you in this cycle of procrastination. Something simple that you want to do, it takes you maybe a week or so more to do it. Yeah, it's because you're stuck in the past. Six of Swords reverse. You're having a hard time moving forward because you're stuck in the past. You're running away from your problems. You feel trapped. You running away from your problems is not necessarily in the physical sense, but very much in the emotional. And for some of you, it is physical. It's like confirmation there. Yeah. You're running away from problems, but the way that you're running away feels like you emotionally are trying to run and hide because you don't want to feel those feelings. You don't want to feel the guilt or feel the shame or feel the hurt, right? Anything that is being re-triggered from your past. Because when this is in the upright, see how they're moving forward and they're not looking back. Yeah, they got their trauma in front of them and maybe a little bit behind them, but they're not focused on that. They're focused on getting the hell out of there. And right now you're in the opposite spot. Instead of doing exactly what you know you need to do to get to where you want to be, you're stuck. You're frozen. You keep going backwards in your thinking instead of forwards. And that's a part of the journey. Let me tell you that. Do not feel shame. Do not feel guilt. Everyone, I don't care who you are. I don't care how elevated you are. You're still a human. And humans will revert. That is a biological breakdown within us. You will revert. And maybe you're in that reverting season. Maybe some things you felt were a little bit easier before are feeling a little bit harder. But that is where the beauty starts to come in, right? Is when you get back to this point and opportunity to really reflect on the integration. Right? Have you truly integrated all of the lessons and the knowledge that you've learned? Or are you just kind of flying by the skin of your teeth? Seven of Wands. You're fighting for it though. Okay. You are standing up for yourself. You're defending yourself. I know for me leaving was me protecting myself. Me leaving that day was protecting not only myself, but my family, protecting Donald, protecting Luna. Luna wasn't there that day. Thank God Luna wasn't there that day, because that would have pissed me off even more. But truly, truly, there is this protectiveness that you are finally standing up for yourself. And maybe you're not at 100%, but maybe you were only at 5% and now you're at 55%, right? Now you're more than what you've ever done before, but now that's weird, right? I haven't protected myself before. I haven't stood up for myself before. I haven't stood on my boundaries before. I know that it feels weird for me. Four of Swords. I know this is for me. I know this is for me. Like, this card is particular. This is about rest, relaxation, peace, self-protection, recuperation, rejuvenation. Swords is earth energy, right? And when swords come out, it's about you being solid. It's about you standing in your own. And to be able to do that peacefully, you need to do so in a way that it makes you structurally sound. And the only way that you can be structurally sound is if you are at peace, because you are at rest, right? The relaxation, the rejuvenation. I know for myself, I've been busting ass. I am caregiver burnout in both ends of the spectrum. Not only was I taking care of an almost 2-year-old, I was taking care of an 82-year-old who had dementia. So it was like a lot of overlap of things that I had to do for both, but one is way more intense than the other, and it wasn't the 2-year-old, let me tell you. And I know I haven't rested. I know I haven't relaxed. I've literally been flipping these rooms to like try to make it not seem like my grandma's place, so on and so forth. And it's been hard. And also self-protecting and defending myself from my own fucking parents. Like, it's a lot. It's a lot of time and energy. And maybe that's somewhere where you're at too. Maybe there's somewhere where you feel like, okay, damn, like I really do want rest, but I'm feeling guilty for resting. Because if I'm not productive, then I feel lazy. And if I feel lazy, then I get in a depressive spiral. And if so on and so forth and so on and so on, right? This is where the integration is changing with you. This is where spirit is like, yo, actually, I do want you to rest. And you know that you need rest. So do it because you deserve it. You have been working hard. It might not have been like back-breaking labor, but mentally, physically, emotionally, whatever, right? It is labor. Healing yourself is work. That's why most people don't want to do the damn work. You know what I mean? Like, when people get to this point, they don't actually want to do it. They get to the point where they're like, damn, it was just easier to fall back into my old ways and stay into the old structures and the old cycles because I already know what that is. I already know how that feels. I already know how that goes. And something new, something different, something that it feels like I have no control, that feels scary. And most people, when they get to that point, they're like, I'm going to turn back tail, but not you. Not you at all. You also got the Four of Pentacles reverse and the Seven of Pentacles reverse, right? This is earthly wealth. Earthly wealth is interesting. I'm sorry. Also, when I was talking about swords, it's air energy, not earth energy. Pentacles is earth energy. But this energy here, this is... there's a lot of issues with spending and your generosity. Like, generosity specifically, like there's parts of you that you feel very generous and you want to do things, but you're not getting stuff in return. But then we also have the Seven of Pentacles in reverse, which is like procrastination, yet again, setbacks, impatience, lack of reward, unfinished business. This definitely feels like you're in the space of like over giving for others and not doing enough for yourself, right? That's where the procrastination's coming in. That's where like the work and the reward aren't matching, right? An imbalance. I wouldn't be shocked if the Justice card comes out next, probably in reverse, because there's some imbalance that you have going on. Ten of Pentacles in reverse. Okay, lot of pentacle energy. Like, there's a lot of stability and grounding energy that the universe is wanting you to focus on right now. For this is definitely for me. Family disputes, debt, fleeting success, conflict over money, instability, breaking traditions. The family disputes, 100%, conflicts over money and instability. There's some of you that are still struggling with money, and it's not that you can't make money, it's how you're making money, and you're putting too much time, energy, and effort into how you're making it instead of just doing it. I don't know who that one's for, but you know who you are. And if you're struggling with that, let me know. Damn, lots of pentacle energy. Yeah, 5 of Pentacles. Again, the struggle with money here. Hardships, loss, feeling abandoned, struggle, unemployment. The money is like your main focus. You're like, okay, what can I do to make the money? What can I do to make the money? How can I make the money? You're putting too much pressure on this next phase in chapter. You're looking for this to be your solution, your get out of jail free card, if you will, and that's not how you're going to get out of the situation that you're in. You're putting too much pressure on that next chapter. Give yourself, I keep seeing 3 and 6, give yourself like 3 months, 6 months to do something simple, right? 9 to 5, but something very simple, not like a career worthy 9 to 5, but something that's going to make you money so that you can focus on this next chapter in a different way, right? Instead of putting pressure of like, oh, this has to make me X amount of money every single month, unless if I do X, Y, and Z and follow my passions, follow my dreams, do so on and so forth, right? Like, I see content, I see business, I see something other than a 9 to 5, right? Like you're trying to get out of that space, but to do so is going to require you to put less energy into that space. Energy in the sense of like pain, frustration, overwhelm, worry, right? You had 4 Pentacle cards come out right off the bat. The money is a big issue for you. The money is a problem for you. Yeah. This is making sense. Ooh, okay. So we have the Hierophant in reverse. What did I say about the balance, right? About, I know I said justice, but this also represents somewhat of the imbalance, right? The Hierophant, the way that she's sitting, because when she's in the upright, it's like her arms are like the scales. But this Hierophant in reverse, this is about rebellion. This is about nonconformity. This is about new methods. You're changing. This next chapter is different. It doesn't look the way that it looked before. You're not going to get to where you want to be by doing the old shit. You're going to get to where you want to be by doing the new shit. But you're really stuck in here instead of action. The universe is looking for action. The universe is looking for hard work, right? 8 of Pentacles in the upright. This is about hard work. This is about your skill, your talent, your high standards, your expertise, craftsmanship, accomplishment, dedication. Are you dedicating yourself? Are you pushing yourself in the right direction, right? Are you pushing yourself upwards or are you pushing yourself in a downward spiral? Are you over planning, overthinking, so stuck in the mud that you can't even move? Or are you giving yourself time, grace, patience? Are you doing that in a way that is elevating you, where you're actually following your intuition and you're not second guessing yourself because of other people? This could be in more than just business, okay? This can definitely be in your daily life of where you're trying to move to. You're giving your power away to too many other people when the power is within yourself. That's what this dedication is. This is you dedicating to yourself. This is you being like, actually, I am skilled. I am talented. I am committed. And I am dedicated to doing what I need to do for myself. And I will, no matter what it looks like, get to my inevitable goal. We also got 7 of Swords here. Lies, trickery. This feels like, it feels like you're lying to yourself. Some of you, someone's lying to you specifically. If you've been second guessing that, just know this is a confirmation that somebody definitely has been lying to you. It feels like sneaky. I keep seeing like a cell phone, like maybe you're worried about like text messages, stuff like that. And no, I'm not telling you to go through your partner's phone, but what I am telling you is, you know what you feel, you need to trust it, or at least have a conversation about it. And some of y'all, it's you lying to yourself, telling yourself that you're good when you're really not. That's what I'm feeling. I feel like I keep telling myself like, oh, I've been through so many hard things and so many losses, like I'll get through this too. This one hits different because I know that this is the change. I know that this is over. And like, meaning like with my parents, I'm done. I'm not going to keep letting them hurt me and inevitably hurt my daughter. I am the mother that will protect my daughter. I am the person that's going to protect myself and have real boundaries. And no, I don't really give a shit of what they think I'm doing or what it looks like, because I'm too damn happy with what the hell they're doing. You know what I mean? And I don't give a fuck about what they're doing. But this is something that I've been telling myself, lying to myself, telling myself that I don't need, this makes sense, that I don't necessarily need to deal with the grief, that I don't necessarily need to handle that right now. If I just focus on business, if I just focus on something else, then I don't have to actually focus on the grief. But LOL, you saw that card flip out, 5 of Cups. This is about loss. This is about grief. This is about pain, mourning, disconnect. Some of you feel really let down with yourself or really let down with other people. Some of you have not faced your grief or your loss in whatever capacity that is, whether if it's people, places, things, career, your old self, an old loved one, right? Like relationships wise, ex-boyfriend, ex-girlfriend, something along those lines. Like you haven't really dealt with the grief and the loss. Because I've been doing a lot of like grief stuff recently. Somebody on TikTok said that grief is always there. The container in which the grief is in just gets larger as time goes on. But your grief is always going to feel like this, right? It's always going to feel like a hole in your heart. But they do become full at a different point. And you do actually have to feel it, because the only way that you can heal it is to feel it. 111 as I say that. Is there anything else that they need to know, Spirit? Damn, this shit keeps just flying out. All right. We're on the up and up here. 8 of Cups. You're walking away. You're changing. You're letting go. See how she's not looking back at all this shit? And before, with the 6 of Swords reverse, like you were totally out of whack. When you actually feel this loss and you feel this grief, and it can be for anything. It could be for who you used to be, who you want to be, what you don't have, what you do want, whatever it is. Or maybe it's true grief and loss. Like I lost my grandma. I lost my aunt. I lost my house. I lost my car. There's so much grief. There's so much loss. You don't have to heal every part of it right now, but you got to feel it. You got to feel something. Confirmation. It's time to let it go. But do so in a way where you give yourself grace, where you give yourself peace, and walk away without looking back. I know this one's for me, because I keep looking back, hoping, praying, wishing that they actually considered my feelings, that they actually looked at me like I was a real fucking person, and actually thought to themselves, wow, my daughter is so scared of me. Maybe I shouldn't show up at her grandma's fucking funeral while she's on stage singing. That's my own discrepancy. But anywho, you also have the 4 of Wands in the upright. This is collaboration. This is moving forward. This is community. This is home. This is celebration. Community. I know I've been MIA for the last like 2 weeks. You know, I've been having a lot of shit going on. But I'm going to be 100% for real with you guys. We gotta up level in what we're doing inside of Stella Nova. I think that some of us are just a little nervous, a little scared to share, but we are this quite little quaint group. Let's be real. Let's be raw. Let's open up. Let's take yourself to that deeper level, because when you can start being vulnerable with others, it makes it so much easier to be vulnerable with yourself. You want to know why? Because when other people see you, hear you, feel you, love you, accept you, it's easier for you to do that to yourself. Because if you're anything like me, you have that inner voice that's been telling you that you're shit, you're this, you're ugly, you're nasty, whatever, for your entire life. But I hate to break it to you, it's not your voice. It's the voice of others that have been bleeding into your subconscious, telling you that you're not enough, but your higher self is trying to come through telling you that you're more than enough. But sometimes your higher self can't get through to you, and they come through community. And you walking away is from all of the old bullshit and stepping into the new bullshit. That's what's going to take you to the next level. Ooh, Four of Cups in reverse. Clarity, awareness, acceptance, right? Happiness. You're moving on. You're moving to the next level. You're doing what you need to do. But that clarity is going to require some changes. And let the community help you just as much as you can help the community, right? It could be a simple GIF, a simple voice note, something simple in general. It's not about, oh, I don't want to be seen, I don't want to share, right? Yeah, we're going back and forth here of just the same energy of what we got. I am going to end it off like this. We all can help each other collectively get to where we want to be. We can help ourselves individually by taking care of ourselves, giving ourselves real rest, real relaxation, but real space to actually feel the emotion, to really feel it, to really heal it. I know earlier last year when I was doing my coven calls, way before I ever started Stella Nova, and I was doing them with Shelby and I was doing them with Elise. We all three would meet up once a week and we'd talk about stuff and we'd do spiritual shit. And let me tell you, for months, I had to deal with the pain of what I was actually feeling from my ex-boyfriend. That was over 14 years ago, okay? This was high school, but I never actually felt it. And it took me a few months to actually feel it. Same thing with my abuser who assaulted me when I was 14. It's been a long fucking time, people, but it's still something that I knew I wasn't actually feeling and healing. And that was stuff from when I was a teenager. I know there's shit from in my 20s that I still haven't really dealt with. And even the shit that I'm dealing with now. It's okay that I'm not okay within a week, within a month, within 6 months. But I'm not saying to stay stagnant either. This is the opportunity to leap. This is the opportunity to do so where you have, I just keep saying, I don't know if you've ever been to summer camp, but when you like do this kind of motion and then somebody else's arm is over here and they like lock arms. If you get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't. Sorry. But like, that's what I see. Like us as a community are building a solid foundation for us individually and collectively. Being open, being honest, being real. It doesn't have to be about, oh, does it look and sound okay? Y'all see me show up on here all the fucking time. I got rips, holes, this shit's ripped the fuck up. I don't have a bra on. This is me being real. Are you being real? It's time. You got this. I'm so excited to hop back in here, but let me know thoughts, questions, concerns. Share in the group. Please drop voice notes, drop gifts. It doesn't have to be an insightful thing every single time. Sometimes just an emoji is just enough, okay? But you're more than enough. We love you. We're here for one another. And let's do this shit together. Let's move forward. And let's leave that bullshit behind. Love you, babes.